Hey everybody, I'm Mike, and I want to take a minute to talk about 3D printed proxies and why I think they're so awesome. So what I want to talk about is what I prefer to use 3D printed proxies for and when I prefer to buy the actual Games Workshop models and why. I think this could help you if you're kind of a newbie and the cost is sort of a big turnoff, which it honestly should be because it is way too expensive. I can tell you from experience that when I first got started doing 1,000-point games, I got into a situation where I was playing up against a guy who plays orcs, and he had a battle wagon that he would just drive out to the middle of the field and park it, and I just didn't have a single thing that could do anything about that. Now, I could have probably been smart and played around it, but I am bad at the game, and I am not smart, so it resulted in me losing until I got something that could deal with all that heavy armor. It sort of felt like playing rock, paper, scissors, and then somebody brings out super scissors, and now you have to go order a turbo rock for $95 in order to continue playing. And I know that's not really how it works. There are other things you can do, but that is definitely how it felt to me at the time. And that's when 3D printing became like really, really interesting to me. So this video is for, people who are kind of new and they're concerned with the price of getting further into Warhammer, because typically you don't start off with all like the cool main battle tanks. You start off with the foot soldier guys. You start off with the army boxes or the combat patrols. And in my opinion, this is just me, I think those are worth the money. This is a subjective worth for me, not a matter of how much I can afford, but how much I want to spend and the kind of return on investment I get from the things that I spend my money on. For me, an army box is worth it because inside of an army box, you get all these cool little dudes. I mean, the poses are really nice, the details are there. There's just so much work that goes into all these individual little guys and the amount of time you get to spend painting. So I'm a big fan of painting. I love it. Can't get enough of it. It's so therapeutic for me to just like put a podcast on and have something to work on. To me, the price that I spent was worth it just because of that, right? I got to do this fun little thing and it lasted me a while. And then there's like the impact that you get on the tabletop too, because if you bring your army box set or your combat patrol or whatever it is you get to the table, that's like the bread and butter of your whole game right there. That's super important stuff. And it gives your army that flavor that you're looking for. But when it comes to auxiliary stuff, specifically two different kinds, that's when I start really appreciating buying 3D printed proxies. Because for me, and this is just me, I don't get as much enjoyment out of this. I really don't. I know it's super cool and it's really fun on the table, but in terms of like what you get, it's one thing, right? This doesn't take you a super long time to paint. Maybe it does, maybe you're super detailed, but for me, it was more rewarding to do the little tiny guys. It wasn't as rewarding to paint this thing with a bunch of big flat panels all over it. That's where I stop enjoying spending money. The army boxes are worth it, but vehicles aren't always worth it, just in my opinion. And you know what else isn't worth it to me? That's stuff that is probably gonna go to Legends. That's like the second category of stuff that I will always use 3D printed proxies for. So for those of you who are brand new, Legends means that Warhammer is gonna take something and kind of, Games Workshop is gonna go, I don't like you anymore, get out of here. And while you can still use them in casual games, they stop really doing like points balances for them. They stop being included in all the updates, and you're just kind of bringing old stuff to the table. And it feels bad to go out and buy something and then have old Games Workshop be like, oh, by the way, you can't use that anymore. I get that they have to do it, but it still stinks. And some units, especially older firstborn models, the ones with the different wonkier proportions, they're kind of at risk of being sent to Legends. A good example here, I'm a Space Wolves player, which you may have gathered by all the blue and yellow stuff. There's a very critical, super cool, super fun unit called the Thunderwolf Cavalry. They're like little guys riding wolves here, and we were, before we got our new army boxes and we got all our new like ranges of models to put on the table, we were all kind of convinced that these were gonna go away. But that was like 6 months ahead of the new model range coming out. So like what was I supposed to do in the meantime? Kind of sucked. So I bought a bunch of these. 3D printed, I actually think they look kind of cool. They look a little bit cooler than these do. Really like them. I got 6 of them and they've been playing really great and they wound up not getting cut, which is really fun. And to me, that was absolutely worth it because how much would it have sucked if I had spent over $100 on something that was just not playable outside of casual games, which are all my games. But let's be honest, it feels kind of bad when they cut your favorite thing, right? The way I look at it is I know that there's a price of admission. There's always a price of admission whenever you're getting into anything cool. And Games Workshop makes some really cool stuff. Like, I love everything they do. They've made this whole big, unique, interesting universe that has been very fun and enriching in all of our lives. But there's a point where the cost of entry into all this is like a little too high. If you look at all the money that you've spent and you're saying, okay, if this money that I spent is my ticket in, at what point is the ticket too expensive? Like, when do I not go? And I think that after I bought an army box set, a combat patrol, a few different boxes of guys and a bunch of their paint, I feel like my price of admission has been paid. I'm in. I've bought my ticket. I am in the park. I'm riding the roller coasters. I'm having fun. I don't want to pay a ton more money. And that's just kind of where I draw the line. But if it's different for you, if you want to use all super official Games Workshop stuff, you go for it. Their stuff is the best. It's gonna look the best. And if you don't want to use any of it and you want to 3D print your entire range, go for that too. I know people that have done that. I wouldn't be able to tell a difference between their stuff and the official stuff. There's just so much you can do. And whatever you choose to do, I support you. Voice cracked a little bit there. I've been talking a long time. I think it's getting tired. Anyways, that's my video on 3D printing. I just kind of wanted to make this as more of a message of support for people who are getting into the hobby and are considering doing 3D printed stuff to save a little bit of money, but are worried that it might make you look bad or that people won't like it. Nobody cares. Like I said, almost everybody I've played against has something 3D printed in their army. For me, it makes more sense for units that might be sent to Legends and units that are just like big old tanks or monsters or something that you don't want to spend 100, 150 bucks on. 3D print, let it rip. Until next time, I'm Mike. I'll catch you all later.